Hey stars! So in this video I'm going to be reacting to Most People Have Never Been Adults, and the video is by Pursuits of Wonders. So if you're new to the channel and you enjoy this video, at the end you should subscribe to my channel and turn on post notifications, and you should also like the video if you enjoyed it till the end. So yeah, let's just get right into it.
This video is sponsored by Opera, the
Of course
faster,
there's a
safer, and
sponsorship.
smarter way to browse the internet. Download the browser for free by using my link in the description.
Interesting.
If you live to the age of 20, you will have lived longer than most humans have ever lived.
Wow, that's
You
crazy.
will have had more years, more months, more days, more minutes. You will have experienced more moments, more
That's
opportunities,
honestly
more
fucking
stages
crazy.
of yourself than most people have ever had or experienced in history.
Wow. And I feel like I'm so very
117
young for being
billion.
20.
That's roughly how many modern humans have ever existed. 8
Wow.
billion of that total exist right now, in the year 2024. That means roughly 7% of all humans who have ever existed are alive right now.
Interesting.
Over time, the global human population has grown significantly, most significantly in the last 200 or so years. In the
Crazy.
year 1800, there were 1 billion humans, 8 times less than there are now. Going back a bit further, 2,000 years or so, to the year 1 CE, the total human population was only 300 million.
Wow.
That's only a little bit more than just how much the total global population grew in the last 4 years, or about the population size of present-day Indonesia. Around 10,000 years ago, in 8000 BCE, the global population was only around 5 million. That's roughly the current population of St. Petersburg, Russia. Across the whole planet,
If there was
the
only 5 million people,
population
how would they
of a
find my
modest
presence?
present-day city.
That would be
With nearly
very rich
10% of the
10%.
total human population across history existing today, it's reasonable and intuitive to assume that most humans existed within the last 1 to 200 years. But this isn't the case, not even close. According to the Population Reference Bureau, over half of all humans who have ever existed, around 60 billion humans, lived before the year 100 CE,
Crazy.
roughly 2,000 years ago or earlier. How is this possible, though, given how many more people are around today and how few people were around back then? With the total human population being in the billions throughout the last couple hundred years, and it only being in the millions prior to that, decreasing significantly before 100 CE, how could there have been 60 billion people prior to 100 CE?
Yeah, that doesn't really make sense.
The reason is most people died very young.
Oh.
Today, the average global life expectancy is around 73 years. Life expectancy is defined as the average number
My
of
grandma's
years a
72,
population
she's
can
almost
expect to
73.
live based on the number of people alive and the number of deaths at each age in the given population. This measurement considers
And I'm
mortality
20 now,
rates,
which is awesome.
which are defined by the number of deaths in a population per unit of time. For example, in the year 2020, the mortality rate for American males between the ages of 25 and 34 was 0.221%.
That's
So,
very low.
out of 100,000 American males ages 25 to 34, on average, 221 would have died in the year 2020. For newborn American males under the age of 1, in that same year, the mortality rate was 0.57%, nearly 3 times as much as it was for 25 to 34-year-olds.
That's crazy.
Historically, child and infant mortality rates have always been very high, though today they are still relatively high when compared to the mortality rates of other age ranges under 40. They are nowhere near how high they were in the past. When discussing agricultural societies as recent as 300 years ago and as far back as 12,000 years ago, the historian and philosopher Yuval Noah Harari writes in his book *Sapiens*, as people began living in disease-ridden settlements, as children fed more on cereals and less on mother's milk, and as each child competed for his or her porridge with more and more siblings, child mortality soared. In most agricultural societies, at least 1 out of every 3 children died before reaching 20. According to the Human Mortality Database, in 1750 Bavaria, Germany, only just around 275 years ago, 50% of all children died before the age of 15.
Crazy.
2,000 years ago, around the year 1 CE, in Roman Egypt, nearly 60% of all children died before age 15.
Crazy.
During these times, it wasn't the exception for human beings to die as children or infants. It was the norm. Because of these child and infant mortality rates, the overall life expectancy for a society could be as low as 10 years. And so, the population of these societies, and the global population during their time, were small relative to
Then
today,
how did we not go
not
extinct?
purely because there weren't lots of people being born, but because lots of people were dying very young, unable to add to or further contribute to the population. In fact, during these earlier times of human history, birth rates were often much higher than they are today, often as much as 5 times higher or more. In 1750 Bavaria, Germany, the average woman had at least 5 to 7 children. Today, the average woman in Germany has 1 to 2 children. In the pre-modern era in general, having 4.5 to 7 children per woman was extremely common. But since most of these children did not make it out of childhood, even with more children being born, these societies struggled to outpace their death rates. And thus, the populations barely increased. And so, a huge number of humans, billions of humans, existed both very briefly and a very long time ago.
Crazy.
Today, as a result of global health, medical advancements, technology, and human understanding, the child mortality rate, ages 15 and under, is around 4% globally. The average life expectancy, as previously mentioned, is around 73 years. The vast majority of newborns will make it out of infancy and childhood. The average adult will make it into their 70s. Most of us will experience 50 to 60 years more than most humans throughout history. Most of us are not supposed to be here. We're not supposed to experience this world as it's been built and changed, and we are not supposed to be around this long.
And I fight every day to stay.
To have existed in the world within the last 2,000 years, and to live into adulthood, are things that, though we take them as normal parts of the human experience, historically, are anything but normal. Far more common across the spectrum of human experience is early death and antiquity, a brief life in an old world. From the perspective of human history, most of us are extremely unlikely, given an unbelievably unique experience of existence. Half of all humans who have ever existed never knew of mechanical clocks, toilet paper, eyeglasses, playing cards, the printing press, pianos, electricity, lights, sodas, engines, cars, planes, rockets, buttons, our solar system, galaxies, the prominence of Christianity or Islam or atheism, the concept of gravity and space-time, touchscreens, video games, and so much more. Half of all humans who have ever existed likely couldn't read or write. They likely had no choice in where they lived and what they did, which was almost certainly farming wherever they were born. Most of all the humans who have ever existed never felt what it feels like to be 20, let alone 30, 40, 50, and so on. To exist at all is a wonder. To exist as a human is an even more remarkable wonder. And to exist as a human now, able to experience all the things we can and do, able to live as long as we can and do, is a wonder beyond comprehension. Now, we are experiencing things never thought possible, made possible by us. Pure human ingenuity, strength, force, and in some cases, naivete and ignorance. Look at what we have done. For better or for worse, there is no denying the remarkable capabilities of humankind. Every 30-something-year-old flying on a plane to a vacation destination, watching a movie or reading a book, casually aware of gravity and how the sun works and what's happening in the various places below them, able to consider where and why they might go somewhere or do something. A credit card and a health insurance card, neatly tucked away in their pocket to use to treat nearly any moderate ailment that might inflict them, is a living, breathing example that miracles are real, and they are created by the hands and minds of the godlike force of humanity. Humanity has forged this reality for itself, and we are now the unlikely reapers of its labor. We so easily critique and squander what we have. There is, admittedly, a lot to critique and many reasons to squander. But, considering at least once in a while how insane it is that not only we exist as self-aware humans, but we also exist on the side of human history when we will likely see 30, 40, 50, maybe even 100 or more years. When we can tell time with minutes and seconds, wipe with soft paper, see clearly with glasses, play cards with friends, mass distribute books, listen to a pianist, turn on and off lights, drink sodas, drive cars and fly planes, launch rockets, press buttons, understand more and more about outer and inner space, share and understand ideas like these at a global scale. We created all these things, these opportunities, this knowledge, out from the material of the earth and our minds, out from nothing. We woke up into the conditions of this reality and said, not good enough. How about this instead?
Yes.
The world is fertile soil for innovation, and humanity is both a planter and harvester of fruits of wonder. Fruits of destruction, of course, too. Destruction of the world and ourselves. But perhaps our next great innovations will include the wisdom to properly carry out innovation itself. To not only live long, decorated lives, but also good, sustainable ones. In the words of Harari, humanity's next targets are likely to be immortality, happiness, and divinity. Having reduced mortality from starvation, disease, and violence, we will now aim to overcome old age and even death itself. Having saved people from abject misery, we will now aim to make them positively happy. And having raised humanity above the beastly level of survival struggles, we will now aim to upgrade humans into gods.
Yes.
Never in history have humans had so much access to so much information and media. We can learn and do more at the press of buttons than humans not too long ago could even imagine. Whether we're working, learning, or consuming entertainment on the internet,
Nice.
one of our most fundamental and important tools is our web browser.
Yeah.
With default browsers, however, our workflow can easily become
Oh my gosh,
chaotic,
this is a
distracting,
sponsorship.
and
You know what?
inefficient,
Let's just watch
with
the
tons of
sponsorship and
tabs,
see what
windows, and
happens.
plugins.
Yay, sponsorship!
The sponsor of this video, Opera, transforms your browsing into a cleaner, more efficient, safer,
Oh my gosh,
and
that's
better
so
looking
cool.
experience with tons of incredible features. Having multiple tabs and windows open simultaneously is often inevitable and necessary. With Opera, however, I can easily organize tabs into tab islands based on the context of the tabs, and then save space by collapsing them into color-coordinated elements.
Interesting.
More yet, you can then keep
Wow.
your tabs in separate workspaces, easily switching back and forth between them with a single
Wow.
click at the top of Opera's sidebar. This effectively organizes your browsing and leads to more efficient and focused work.
Wow.
With Opera's native AI, Aria, you can further enhance the efficiency of your browsing. Ask Aria any question and instantly get clear answers. Highlight terms on web pages and have Aria further explain them to you. And for entire web pages that you want further explanations of, simply hit Control or Command + / and you can have the entire web page summarized. This, of course, makes researching and working vastly more efficient, as it provides surface-level information and understandings that you can then use to further direct your browsing in the right direction without wasting time. Perhaps even more impressive is Aria's image interpretation feature, which can provide information and answers to questions that you ask based on images you upload, like, for example, the name and information about a monument or building in a photo you took. If that wasn't enough, Opera is packed with tons of other incredible features that require no additional plugins and come at no additional cost.
Wow.
It has a free
Oh my
built-in
gosh.
VPN for security, an ad blocker you can turn on and off for cleaner article displays, and a super convenient dynamic sidebar where you can keep your music player, social medias, and messengers accessible without ever having to change windows or tabs.
Interesting.
Opera is more secure, more feature-rich, more organizable, better designed, and far cleaner than default browsers. And it's free to download using my link in the description. It's a no-brainer to try, and it will save your brain a lot of headaches.
Awesome.
And of course, as always, thank you so much for watching in general, and see you next video.
That's really awesome. Pursuit of Wonder. Yay! Well, that was a really good video. I really enjoyed the video, and I'm happy you guys watched this video this far. I'm so happy that you guys watched it to the end of the video. So yeah, that was really awesome. Woohoo! So yeah, that was a really awesome video, and thank you guys so much for watching to the end. If you really enjoyed that video, you should subscribe to my channel, turn on post notifications, and like this video. Everyone have a good day.